Great Miami real estate deals rarely make it to Zillow. Call me if you're looking for access to off-market homes.
Miami's on fire, or so they tell us. We hear a lot of hype down here in South Florida. Some of it's real, some of it's not. The premise of this show is to kind of figure out what's real and what is not. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the day after New York Knicks won a unbelievable comeback. And Knicks are a big rival of the Miami Heat basketball team, as we all know. We're talking, is Miami a major sports market? If you talk to a Knicks fan, they're going to say, no way, they're minor league. We got just a guy to discuss. Are we a real marketplace, Miami? We got the World Cup. We got Formula One. We got Messi. We also have nobody showing up at Marlins Park or Lone Depot Park or whatever the heck it's called. So Miami's on fire. We're going to decide, is Miami a major sports market? Let me turn it over to my co-host, Oscar Musibay.
Morning, everybody, or good afternoon. I know that today is a great day because the Knicks won yesterday. We're all fans of the Knicks. In fact, our guest was there yesterday. Irwin was there yesterday. He is from Sidley. He's a co-chair and a partner, and he is responsible for the entertainment, sports, and media industry practice at Sidley. So welcome, Irwin.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming. You actually flew in from New York last night. Is that right?
I did. I had the luck of the draw that I was asked to go help entertain some clients at the game last night. So I went up to New York Tuesday night, went to the game last night, thought I was going to leave at the beginning of the fourth quarter so I can get some work done. And of course, in the stadium for 30 minutes after the game was over. One of the most incredible finishes of all time. And the emotion in the building was pretty, it was electric. I am not a Knicks fan. Good. I'm a Heat fan through and through.
Miami Heat fan.
Miami Heat fan.
What's the first memory of the Miami Heat you remember?
Going to their first game ever with my dad.
Oh, wow.
I went to their first game ever.
At the old arena.
At the old arena.
That's fantastic.
The site that Steve Witkoff, the advisor who's negotiating everything, that he owns. Yeah, that site.
I was there. I was there the first day, and I was like, this
Did you walk up the stairs or did you go through the side door?
I think I had to go upstairs. But now you're really testing my memory on it. But like as a true Heat fan, it's a little bit weird to be in a building, and celebrating the Knicks. But I got to tell you, it was pretty amazing. You got to give them credit. And the fans were it was electric. And it wasn't just in the building. You leave the building, you can't get down the street. Like people were like, incredible. No one was at their houses. It was unbelievable. And credit the Knicks. Although it hurts me that the Heat aren't in the finals,
right?
You got to give the Knicks credit for what was an unbelievable night.
Unbelievable. We'll see if they actually finish it off. Some of us would say hopefully not, just because you want to have like that Boston, New York Yankee kind of bust, but we'll kind of see where it goes. Irwin, what we want to do today is we want to try to figure out, because you negotiate a lot of sports deals. You're the guy behind the scenes nobody ever sees. You're putting things together, and lo and behold, the fan base is able to come out, the government officials are able to come out, and they're able to claim credit. But you're the guy who's actually, you're kind of pulling the levers, if
Listen,
you will.
I don't exist. All right, my job.
He doesn't exist, Oscar.
My job is to make my clients look good. That's not to say that every once in a while I get lucky enough and get invited to a podcast to talk about what I do, and because I love what I do. I'm really, really lucky to do what I do, and I fell into it. But yeah, I do my best to. You
got great stories. So let's cover just a little bit of the background, Oscar, if I may. How long you been living in Miami? Born and raised? Are you unicorn? Where'd you go to school? Give everybody kind of a recap about when they see you, they think, okay, this is what the guy is. And by the way, do you like our betters? One of the co-publishers here, a guy called Grant Miller. He's always raving on and on and on. And by the way, everybody, if you're watching this, come on down to Miami Community News. They will give you a tour. This place is a piece of history. Two brothers run it, Michael Miller and Grant Miller. Grant Miller's always out there doing stuff, but he's always talking about our betters. So we kind of give us some of your street cred in terms of being a Miami guy, and do you like our betters? And when you go there, do you order the Grant Miller dog, which I would probably say I'm not sure if it's really good.
It's a lot.
There's a lot there. You really drank your coffee. You're ready to go.
This is my first coffee.
And I'm going to keep up. We're going to get going. Let's get. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go. So look, I was born actually in West Palm Beach, but really at a very early age moved to Miami, like before one, as I understand it, Miami Beach. My parents came from Cuba. My dad came in 59 when he was 14 years old. My mom came in 61 when she was 14 years old. They knew each other in Cuba as part of the Jewish Cuban community, but they didn't start dating until they met here in the United States here. So I was, I was lucky enough I was actually born in West Palm. And my parents moved down here early to be closer to my grandparents and the rest of the family. And my father went to the University of Miami, went to Beach High, and has all kinds of wonderful stories. He's told me about the challenges of being first generation and he wasn't first generation, but being an immigrant here in Miami and Miami Beach, which has really has impacted, and my mom as well, and it's really impacted the way I think and appreciate and all the things I'm fortunate to have, and the opportunities they gave me. But yeah, I moved to Miami Beach at an early age. I went to North Beach Elementary. I went to Beach High. I went to Lehrman Day School. I was bar mitzvahed at Temple Emmanuel on Miami Beach. I went to the University of Miami for undergrad, so I stayed. I was a geek. I was student body president at UM, the Wellness Center. It was my big signature project there. And then I left for law school. I went to WashU in St. Louis. So that was
nice. St. Louis. What a change.
So Tad Foote, President Foote, who was one of my mentors.
Yep.
I think one of the guys that may be a little bit misunderstood, right? He really was just a wonderful mentor for me and learning professionalism in some elements for my career and others at the University of Miami, Dr. Butler and Pat White. I can name a dozen people from UM that had a real significant impact on my life. And so, but President Foote, Tad Foote, was the dean of the law school at Washington University before he became president of the University of Miami.
That's the connection.
And so when I went to see him one day, I said, he goes, what are you going to do next year? And I said, well, I'm going to law school. I'm either going to Miami or WashU. He goes, if you stay here, I'll give you a job. You can come work at the university, help offset your tuition, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's amazing. He said, but I really think you should go to WashU. You're a unique individual with unique talents. It would be really, I think for you in particular, it'd be really special for you to see another community and see how other people grow up and other people live and have those other different experiences. And so that's why I went to WashU in St. Louis.
And did you go to Emo's Pizza? Anybody who's ever been to St. Louis, there's a restaurant called Emo's Pizza. They do a combination of provolone and mozzarella.
And it's like thin crust.
And
really
it's so thin. It's in the hill.
The hill. Yeah. No, everybody goes there. But yes, we definitely
and
have
fried ravioli in St. Louis. I know this. I went to University of Missouri in Columbia.
Oh, get out.
So I was just right up the street. Yeah. So
anyway, so my Miami connections, and then I bolted. I don't want to say my year because that'll make me, it's going to age.
Tell us what college football coach was there
at UM.
Yeah.
I was on the crew team at University of Miami. I'd never rode in my life and showed up and tried out for the team because I loved playing sports.
Where did you guys do it? North Beach, like 63rd Street?
No. This is old school. This is Key Biscayne. Now I just aged myself, right? Right. So this is Key Biscayne.
Listen, as old as you think you are, you're nowhere close to Oscar.
Well,
that's right. It's true.
It's the love that you guys have for each other. I can feel it. I can feel the love here. So I did this. I was on the crew team, and it was. I lost my train of thought with all this stuff, but I did the, and the coach at the time. That was your question. The coach at the time was Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson.
And so on rain days, we would train in Green Tree. Mm-hmm. In the old Green Tree, like the gym was like this big. Like it's hard to believe that they were winning national championships with the weight room they had. But I guess it was state of the art then. And I remember we were out there like at 7 a.m. because it's raining. We couldn't go to the boathouse. And I'm sitting there on the lat pull down machine. And in crew, it's all about circuit training. You're doing you go up for a minute. You don't go by numbers. It's like how long can you go? So I'm doing lat pull downs at like a really lightweight because that was my circuit at the time. And then you rotate to the next circuit. And Coach Johnson, I can't call him Jimmy because I don't know him. Coach Johnson taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Son, can you let the real athletes work out?"
That's so bad.
Thank you. Good night. You're like,
wow.
And this huge guy behind me just starts laughing. I'm like, I deserve that.
He treated you like a punter, basically.
No, worse. Less than those guys are big and strong. I was like, I was a lightweight, like with wet. I was 150 pounds. But
incredible.
But that was the coach, and then Dennis Erickson and all those guys. And
so you got to see the run.
I got to see the run, but I got to see the run as a kid because I went to the national championship game against Nebraska with my father. We scalped tickets.
God. Really?
Yeah, we scalped tickets in the parking lot. We scalped tickets. Went inside. We were in the upper deck, sitting with all Nebraska fans, the nicest fans in the universe. Honestly, there was like
even after the match,
through the game, a different era, I guess. I don't know. People were just like, "You guys are playing great." I'm like, thanks, so are you. Like, it was just like this. And when we won, they're like, congratulations. And granted, it was families and stuff like that. You walk out of the building, people were flipping cars over, right? But it was the coolest thing in the world. So I experienced that with my father. It was just the two of us. It was before my little brother was born. So we were able to go together.
My last question, maybe, and then I'll let Oscar take over.
Yeah.
So where does the sports come from? Is it like, I mean, your father was into it, your mother was into it. Are you like an anomaly and you decided to go into sports and you got, I mean, how did you get this fascination?
Well, the reality is I got lucky. My fascination truly, I mean, I always loved sports. I always loved playing. I'm a super competitive and all those things. And along the way, I broke every bone in my body, knees, the shoulders, nose, you name it. And it was very clear I'm not 6'5" and I don't run a 4.40, and there are certain things I could do. So, but I still enjoy playing sports and I love it. But the reality is my second passion or equal passion was actually making a difference. Like I really had this thing about how an individual can make a difference. And, hearing stories that my grandmother used to say and all these things about like, you can help people and you should care about the things around you. And by the way, far from perfect. I didn't do everything. But in my head, I was like, the idea of, trying to save the world was part of my it's like, I think it's part of the first generation story, right? Mm-hmm. Right. And so it was very much a part of the DNA that I had. And so, and then, by the way, in my family, it wasn't like everybody was supportive of it. Like my mom was sometimes like, can you make money that way? Is that like, but you got to follow your passion. And that's what I did. I followed my passion. And that's how I ended up at UM as student body president. That's why I ended up in law school where I ended up. And I wanted to get a law degree, not because I wanted to practice law, but as much as I thought I needed to understand how to read a law if I ever wanted to write one. Right? I didn't have the mindset that students have when they go to law school usually. I was coming from a different mindset, which was, let's just say it was a little bit shocking when I showed up, and I wasn't prepared the way I should have been, right? In that first semester, and I had to learn how to be a law student, it all worked out.
And that's what Tad Foote probably saw.
Well, Tad Foote saw me as an undergrad and said, yes, I think you're right. I think Tad thought that if I stayed in Miami, it'd be too comfortable for me.
Yeah.
And so I needed to be challenged.
He took you to the deep end of the pool and he said, learn.
You can do it. You
Nice.
can do it. And you know what? And by the way, I have a great story. I'll come back to this in a second. But the last day of law school, when I handed in my last exam, which was a take-home exam, coincidentally, Tad Foote was in St. Louis dedicating a school,
Nice.
right? And he showed up and gave me a hug.
Wow.
And it was like, and it was in front, I remember I was in front of the career services offices, and everyone was like, what just happened, right? Because
that's amazing.
And it was a very special moment. I went there because of him. Mm. He happened to be there the last day I did my last exam. Mm. Coincidence. It wasn't planned. Yeah. And it was a really special moment for me. And so yeah, he challenged me. I accepted the challenge and went. So anyway, I had a passion for trying to make a difference. Mm-hmm. And I went from WashU in St. Louis, DC, and I went to go work at HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development. And I was bored out of my skull.
You were definitely on a Don Quixote quest, if you will.
Yeah. I wanted to be in DC. I just was so curious about it, and how do you do these things, and how do you help people, and it was fascinating to me, and I had like I said, I had a real true passion for it. So I went there, and I was bored at my job, and so it was an 8:30 to 4:30 job. And look, when your parents have retail stores, and you don't work 9 to 5. You don't see 9 to 5. You work. My parents. It's not just my dad. My mom too, because she was in the stores. 9 to 8, 9 to 9, 9 to 10. And it was 6-7 days a week. And so not that I had to do that because I was protected and then you go to work and go to school, but I did work in the store at night and I did all the things, and I worked the weekends and summers. So I saw that growing up. So I'm like, this is boring. 8:30 to 4:30. So I started volunteering on the Clinton Gore campaign in '96. 1 hour a week. Then it became 2 hours, and then 1 day a week. Then it became 2 days, and 3 days, 5. And then, long story short, I ended up getting recruited to go to White House counsel's office.
Look at this. I mean, you're like Forrest Gump. You're everywhere. Anything is going on, you are there. Don't even bring up the box of chocolates.
Listen, I am Irwin Gump. Let's just face it.
Irwin Gump. There we go.
So,
and I only mean that in a positive way.
Listen,
it's like whatever you touch.
I was very lucky, and people, listen. It's like what they say, hard work meets preparation turns into luck, right? Like that's, and so I was very lucky, and the right people noticed me at the right times. And when I was given an opportunity, I took advantage of those opportunities, and I, busted my butt, and if I'm allowed to say that, and I just did what I had to do. And
see, he's a grinder, Oscar, unlike you.
Oh, wait a minute. That's an insult, right?
No, it's a compliment.
To him, not to me.
Everyone has a different style.
It's true.
Right?
It's
We
true.
all do things differently.
That's right.
Let's not put everyone
But
in
when
a
you
box.
call Peter a grinder, it's a whole different definition.
Oh, no,
So
I'm not thinking of your grinder. Yeah.
Listen, there's an app for that, but we don't need to get into that.
I was going to say, I know.
I've only heard about it.
That's a different show. That's a different show.
So look. So I'm doing this stuff, and the reality is that was very interesting because I chose to volunteer with Adelante con Clinton Gore, the Latino outreach, not the Jewish outreach. That was my choice because I identified as much as Cuban as Jewish, and so I went in that path. One thing led to another. I went back to HUD after the White House and the White House counsel. I mean, during Monica Lewinsky, talk about Forrest Gump, I was working for the Vice President of the United States in the counsel's office during the impeachment proceedings for the President of the United States. So I was working in the White House during that time. So I got to see some interesting things. And then I was invited to go work. I was in counsel's office to the Clinton, the Gore 2000 campaign, which became the Gore-Lieberman campaign. So I followed my pursuit in life. And so what I tell my kids and when I tell anybody when they see me, if I talk to students or whatever else, follow your passion. Because what happens is people see that. And if people see that you're enjoying and liking what you're doing, there's a more likelihood you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Because I'm far from perfect. I'm not saying I'm the smartest guy in the room.
Yes.
Right? That's not the play. That's not who I am. I'm smart enough. And I work hard, and by God, people like me. No, I do my best. And so anyway, we lost. You can argue about whether we won. We lost.
Billy Corbin, he did the documentary. Was it 526 votes or something?
I was in the movie.
Oh, really?
On HBO Max, but no one asked me for my permission for release. But there's a video of a guy walking into the room carrying a box in Miami-Dade County because I was the guy asked because since I'm from Miami, Barden, Florida, Cuban, speak Spanish. And Jewish, and so you need to. I was on the plane, the Lieberman plane to Florida, and I set up the canvassing group. Incredible. I'm not a litigator, but like I was part of when they were hiring Kendall Coffey and Ben Cuny and Zach and all those guys. I was in the room for that stuff, and so my job is to help any way I could because I don't know Florida law. I just want to be the best. Again, I'm a team player. You work your butt off. You do what you can. So in that movie,
I mean, you had Roger Stone in there, right? Then he sent the boys pounding on the door and everything. Dade County,
I was there. I was there when that happened.
County Hall.
Wow. Yeah, but I also noticed how at the time the timing was crazy because the police officers just happened to have stepped away. That's when everything went crazy. When police officers were like switching shifts or whatever happened. At least that was my perception of what because everything was relatively calm, and then all of a sudden it was like this in a second. But anyway, so look. There's the only reason I know I'm in that movie is because someone took a picture of me and said, "Isn't that you?" And I'm like, "Yeah," with my mullet and everything.
You had a mullet going.
I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
I did. I'm pretty sure I had a soft mullet, not a big one, but I had a soft one. So I had more of a mullet in college. But so anyway, so I was I decided that instead of staying in that crazy world of politics, because I saw the best in people and the worst in people. And I'm not going to say it was either, I don't want to blame the Democrats or the Republicans. I just saw it in everyone. I really got to see something.
That's really a blood sport, the politics. Yeah. Especially nowadays.
It's only gotten worse. Yeah. And people that I was friends with would stop talking to me that were Republicans. I was like, I mean, listen, guys, like we're friends or you're not friends. Like we can disagree. We're human beings. We have conversations. That's life. And so, but I learned to practice law under a microscope. Right? Every decision you make, everything you do has an impact, right? Whether you agree with it or disagree with it, that's what happens. It's just like sports if you think about it.
So true.
The Jets versus the Giants, Dolphins versus Jets, the Heat versus Knicks. We were just talking about that before the show started. Everyone cares. And that's the universe I grew up in. That everyone cares about the decisions you make. It doesn't matter, like the owner picks a player that you ends up being a dud. It's all your fault. How's it the owner?
Are you talking? You're not talking about Stephen Ross.
I would never.
In his organization and some of these draft picks. Pat Riley, on the other hand, he's
Ross
done pretty
is not
decent.
making a decision.
Yeah, but Stephen Ross is the guy who puts the general manager in the private. Come on.
I do nothing with players, and I love all owners. To be very clear, I love all owners. Those are my clients mostly.
So let's talk about that.
So to finish let's talk about. But to finish the story, I ended up in private practice, and I started doing public-private partnerships, and I fell into sports.
There you go.
And my first task was representing Major League Baseball in the relocation of the Expos.
Oh, hold on. Major League Baseball and the relocation of the Expos, which has all kinds of repercussions.
That's it.
We got Jeffrey Loria.
Yeah.
We got David Sampson.
Huge,
we got
huge
old man Huizenga. He was gone at the time, right? He had already passed. I'm trying to remember that. Yeah, so I'm just throwing out some of the
I think
names.
he was still alive.
He was still alive.
He was still alive. But for me,
Yeah, Blockbuster Video was still around.
That's right. But I didn't know anything. I knew a very different world. I want to say I was a very good regulatory lawyer, and I had to learn public finance, private finance, M&A. I had to learn a lot of real estate, a lot of things that I didn't know. But what I could do is read the room and try to problem solve. And I would say that's my experience in government and those experiences I had building up to that. Even with my parents, like in a store, you can't just close a store. You got to problem solve. You got to keep on moving.
Right.
And so my job, a dead deal is failure.
Right. 100%.
Right. So
He's looking at you, Oscar.
I've had a couple of those.
So we all have, right? It happens. It happens.
Tough
and you take it, but you do your best, right?
Yeah.
And so I always think of it that way. And so, anyway, yes, that was my first deal, and I learned all these things on the fly, and that was the beginning of my sports career. And in 2004, I shifted my practice because I went to private practice in 2001. I shifted my practice completely to the business of sports. And so I help people buy and sell teams. I do a lot of stadium development, stadium adjacent development, so all the development around stadiums, those mixed use developments. In those deals, I represent teams, leagues, private equity, developers, municipal governments, owners, right? So lenders. So really broad-based practice where I know where the various chairs are at the table. And then I do the miscellaneous contract, the material contracts impact the business of sports. I created the Dodgers RSN. That's in place today. I've done naming rights deals. I've done, concessions, merchandising, whatever, those type of agreements, not your day in, day out work. And that's what I do. And it's been an evolution. I didn't know how to do M&A. I first started in stadiums, and then I was like, the economy's crashing in 2008. I better learn how to do an M&A deal.
Right.
And then, then I ended up helping someone buy Nolan Ryan buy the Texas Rangers. And then next thing you know, I'm helping 4 years after that, representing Guggenheim buying the Dodgers. And so that's, constantly evolving. So I fell into sports that way. And, it was a little bit of being fortuitous. It wasn't a plan. I love sports to death, but the reality is it wasn't my career path. It just happened. And I took advantage of it because once I found something I liked, I found my new passion and I just ran with it.
So let's talk a little about this highlight reel of your career, just the top 6 or 7. You represented the MLB in its successful efforts to facilitate the negotiation and approval of a new stadium for the Marlins.
Right? The Marlins Stadium. Were you involved with putting that fish tank in there behind home plate?
I had nothing to do with the fish tank.
And by the way, it's still there.
Home run palm tree.
Listen, I had nothing to do with that either.
Which I loved, I got to say.
I loved it too. Derek Jeter.
Fantastic. He came in and ruined
Derek Jeter, you ruined the Marlins. You made it look like Yankee Stadium South. What are you thinking?
What is he thinking? So also you negotiated and you brought the Miami Open to Miami Gardens, which is a huge deal. That's a big innovation that now Miami Gardens has. Not only the Miami Open, but also F1 is out there.
F1.
Were you involved with that deal also?
I've worked on the financing related to F1.
Incredible.
Didn't Apple buy the rights for all the broadcasts of F1, just like they did with Major League Soccer?
I don't. I don't remember.
Okay.
Because there's that. I don't recall.
Okay.
The Netflix series that involves F1 that's pretty prominent, but I don't know if I know F1 is running on Apple, the movie.
That's
which is really good. But
I got to tell you, this is the biggest hustle. You want to watch traffic? You go on any of these bridges over I-95. You don't need to spend $5,000 to get in there, and people are burning all this cash to go in there.
It's crazy.
To watch the cars go around, you get it like a half a second.
And Wynwood has this great...
You obviously can't comment on that.
No, I think it's a really interesting sport. And what's interesting is individuals.
It is.
You know what it is
stories.
like the Netflix did such a wonderful job, and Liberty and F1 and all those guys did a tremendous job telling the story, because it's hard to appreciate what those drivers are doing until you actually see it.
Oh, it's
so now when you go watch the guy zip by in 1 second, you're like, oh, this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
And this is what he cares about. And it makes it personal.
It's a strategy, kind of like baseball. Baseball's all the strategy. You're doing one thing in the first at bat, another thing for the second at bat, and you're lining it all up. Is that really what it is?
Oh, part of it, but I don't really understand the sport perfectly, but I do appreciate why people love it so much.
Yeah,
right?
It's incredible.
And everybody drives, right?
Not me. Gave up my car 2013.
That's
And
right.
why is
People
that?
driving around.
It
Some
was not
people-
court ordered. Do not
Yes, I think it
insinuate.
was. I'm still
Do
investigating.
not insinuate.
I'm still investigating.
I don't know. We just met. I just had
No. It's a depreciating asset, and I'm not a car guy, and I don't
Okay.
want to waste time spending money for a mechanic to fix my car.
That's right.
And I got to sit there. That's the last thing I want to
By
do.
the way, no. And by the way, and with Uber, it's really like.
Well, Uber came afterwards because you had Car2Go. You had these little Daimler, had the little cars.
I remember this.
So
Yeah,
I drove those, and then Uber came, took them out, and there was no need to go back to a car.
That's it.
Plus the burn rate on a car, the expense.
That's right.
So now I got
I thought about it, but I have 4 kids.
Well, I got
That
a
was
Cuban
impossible.
Uber now, as he says. He's a Cooper.
That's right. Cuber.
He normally picks me up.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
I tend to do that a little bit.
A little bit. So we were talking about the city of Miami. So you represented the city of Miami in its negotiations with MLS franchise to build a 25-seat soccer stadium that is now a home of some of these games for the World Cup.
You did the new stadium.
I did the Inter Miami. I worked on the Inter Miami Stadium deal on behalf of the city.
Yes.
It's funny because on that one, the thing about it, I did the Marlins Stadium representing Major League Baseball.
Yep.
And county and city
Yep.
were on the other side. And then in this case, fast forward many years, I was representing the city on that deal, along with some other local firms. Because at the time I was living in New York, and so when any deal you do, you want to be really thoughtful. It's bespoke to that community, and so it'd be arrogant to come in and say, this is the way we do it in New York, this is the way we do it in California. This way. You got to come in and be really aware of how things are working. And so the importance of working with people locally to make sure you're being thoughtful about things. So I worked under Miami. It was a very challenging project, but I think I really am excited for their success and what's
It's
coming.
incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful stadium. You can see it from almost any part of the city, and it is really something very
Especially when you're
special.
stuck on a dolphin.
Yeah, well.
You're not moving. You're like, oh, check out the stadium. No. Actually, they
doesn't
did a
go
great
very
job.
much.
But where's the bridge? They're supposed to build a bridge when you get on the metro. And I know you got nothing to do with it, but let me just shout out to the county and the city. You guys promised us a bridge. We can take the metro. We get off right there at the Miami Intermodal Center and walk across the bridge. There's no bridge. You got to meander all the way around.
As a guy whose kids play a lot of baseball at Grapeland Park, I've done some of that meandering because sometimes there's.
And now we're going to have City Hall there.
By the way, I think City Hall is one of the ways that you'll expedite. I hope maybe that expedites the bridge you want, because there's going to be a lot.
As long as it doesn't take as long as Flagler Street, both east of the river and west of the river. That thing took forever.
So it's going to be exciting what they do there, and I think when you put the city hall there as an anchor tenant, the stadium's an anchor tenant, and I believe they're going to do some other things. I think they're really going to have some interesting opportunities for mixed use development. It is going to be, you're over an airport, but there's going to be some traffic things, and they'll solve that. I think they're smart. The people they delivered the building. Yeah. That's not easy, right? And so you got to give kudos. Whatever arguments and challenges you have in any negotiation, that happens. When the deal's done, you shake hands. I love you. You're the best. I wish you the best, because that's life, right? And so, so whatever challenging elements it was, and the politics and the dynamics and how it all comes together. But I think they're doing a great job. I think it's super exciting. And for me, as a guy who uses the Grapeland Park every week, I think it can only lead to good things for Grapeland Park too. So, and the community. So I think it's great.
So you also have an NFL connection. That you represented David Tepper, who's the founder and president of global hedge fund Appaloosa Management, in his $2.275 billion acquisition of the NFL Carolina Panthers. Incredible. That's an unbelievable, astounding price. How did you manage that? Is that different? That size of a deal is different from doing some of these other ones?
The reality is you sometimes, the money part is, I can talk about the market, I can talk about comparisons, but we have bankers who actually help us analyze and really give us, I know what my lane is. My lane is to help them structure a deal properly and come up with strategies around how to get to the finish line. But from a numbers perspective, I have a sense from other deals, but I don't, and I can be in the room to talk about it, but in the end, that's a client decision.
Right.
Right. And so my approach to these things is the number's the number. We can figure out what you're comfortable on. Everything else has to come together too. So it's an essential part. You can't make a deal without knowing the number, right? But that's a part of, that's a counseling, that's a conversation, that's a modeling. It's helping if my client doesn't have the right consultants to help them think through that element of it, making sure they have all the tools to make the right decision, right? And I can talk to them about that, and then what did you see here, and what did you see there, and how does it? And we can talk about that from an industry perspective. But the number in the end, in my head, I don't focus on it, right? If it's a $1 billion deal, well, now you look, the Washington Commanders sold for $6 billion, right? Only a couple years later. It's not like it was 20 years later. It was a few years later, right? And let's see, we have the Cleveland Browns just took a minority investment at $9 billion.
Well, let's not overlook. It was just reported the Miami Marlins, they just sold 15% for $1.5 billion or something.
Well, they didn't sell. At a valuation.
At a valuation.
So they didn't pay 1.5
And we do have
billion.
inflation. I don't know if you saw it's coming in at 4.3%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at one point, the 1.5 billion isn't what anyone paid. It's a portion. And the way we look at these things is that's being reported as the enterprise value, and then you usually what you do is you deduct debt and long-term liability, and then you determine what the valuation, how it comes together, and so. This was a cash infusion, and I think it was smart for the Marlins to raise capital, especially in light of what's going on in baseball and everything else. From appreciation, there were articles about how he bought it at I think 1.2 and now 1.55. The San Diego Padres, who were bought for less than $1 billion, just sold for $3.9 billion.
Well done,
right?
Incredible.
And so. Now, granted, they've held that asset longer. Their revenues are significant. This is publicly reported stuff that their revenues are, in the over $500 million, and so a year. And so there was a multiple of revenues to get to that number. But the appreciation of the Marlins, it's not as dramatic as I think that article was inferring, because like looking at that from a market broad perspective, if and I hope they do, because I'm biased because I worked on the stadium. I actually think the stadium is not bad. I think the stadium is great, right? Do I think things could be done differently? Of course. In any business, it's easy for me to second guess because I'm not the one in the working.
And it's much easier for us to second guess.
Right. So, but I'm sure there's ways, and having a better product in the field, and they're trying. I think they have a really good GM right now.
I think their product is always great in terms of the players. I think it's just the other stuff around it.
Well, I think now.
Plus, how do you build a retractable dome? And you never open it, and then you bring in fake grass. It's a blended grass. It's not real. I mean, you got sun, you got rain. How do you not? And this is rhetorical.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. I remember when I worked on the stadium, one of the biggest debates is should it be a dome or a retractable roof. It's
got to be retractable.
Right? And it was a big part. And there was a discussion. How much money? How much incremental cost for a roof versus not a roof? And it was, I want to say it was between $75 and $100 million, right?
Oh, wow.
For that roof to be retractable. Mm-hmm. And the desire was for it to be retractable for lots of different reasons.
Right.
But that's the construction cost. There's an operating expense to it.
True.
Right. Yeah. And that's from air conditioning and other things as well. And I don't know, we've heard stories, I've read the stories. I don't know. I'm not on the operating side of why they would do it or not do it. I like it when it's open, but they've chosen not to.
I got to tell you, Derek Jeter, another shot of you, Derek Jeter. You got the Clevelander in left field.
Right.
You got the dancing. You got the swimming pools. You got the home run statue. You have all this exciting stuff going on. What does he do? He makes it monotone.
Yeah.
It's like Yankee Stadium South.
Yeah.
It's so damn boring. And I will have to give a shout out to everybody watching. Go to Sedano's, Cayocho in 24th. You go in there, you go to the customer service. They offer a deal, $5 ticket vouchers. You pick up that ticket voucher, you take it to the stadium, they let you in. And then once you get there, right field, La Familia section. $3 hot dogs, $5 beers, $3 popcorn.
This is horrible.
This is why you tune in to Miami's On Fire.
You let out our secret. Now everybody's going to
Nobody's going to the game. You got to get people out there.
People are going to go because this team is they have an all-star shortstop.
They got great talent. They do.
I mean, and the GM is really doing a fantastic job. Yeah. And I think they're building a better product. And
it's so sleepy though. I mean, I don't want to talk about ownership. You can't talk about ownership. But you know that it smells like mothballs in there. When you go to the executive office, it's got to be so out of touch.
Did you go to World Baseball Classic?
I didn't go to this one, but I went to some of the originals back at Joe Robbie or Pro Player, whatever it's called. It's so
interesting because people say, does baseball work in Miami? Does baseball? Baseball works in Miami. Baseball works in Miami. It absolutely will work in Miami. And World Baseball Classic is the proof that it works in Miami. It's not the location of the building. It's not this. There needs to be, they're going to evolve. I think they're getting smarter and better, and they will, and that's great for them. And, I'm excited. And maybe this infusion capital helps them to that next level. I don't know.
Yeah.
Winning solves a lot of things. experience solves a lot of things. Look,
and turn down the air conditioning. You go in there in the middle of summer, you got shorts and a t-shirt.
God,
that AC is pumping.
it depends
You're
where you
talking
sit.
about AC.
Dude, you know how cold it gets in
You're
the
talking
stadium?
about AC when you wouldn't turn it on at your wedding. Come on, man.
That's really
Give
funny.
me a break.
$500 extra.
He's difficult.
You know,
I'm a little bit like this.
Yeah,
Listen.
as we say in the old country.
that
old
one,
country.
That one worked for me or my wife, to be clear. And I know who runs my house, so let me be honest. So
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
everyone's in white Miamees.
They're ready to go, and they're like,
Everybody, I mean, we're soaked waiting there for this guy to get married, and it was like just the humidity was in the church, and I can't believe they even let him in a church to begin with. But anyway, that's another.
The priest said it was $500 extra. I said, open the windows.
Open the window.
As soon as
Let me
open,
guess.
the priest is like, shut these windows and pump that AC.
let me guess, it's July.
September, better yet.
Oh, it's September. Oh, great.
I wanted the maximum humidity.
You wanted that feel.
He planned it. He's like, "Do you want to do it in July?" No, September. September
This
is
is great.
It was off market.
It was hurricane season.
It is
He's going to get a
hurricane
breeze.
season.
Hurricanes
That's
all came
right.
rolling through a week later.
Yes.
Well,
Well, it's funny because we were talking about all these incredible clients that you've had over the years. And in commercial real estate, which is what I do for Lee and Associates, people always ask me, how do you get your leads, right? A lead is a relationship. Oftentimes people say you get to work with people who want to work with you, right? Because they have a connection to you somehow. And in a few seconds, you can create that connection. And in the office sector in particular, because it's all about the numbers, and any commercial transaction is like that. When you're dealing with generating a new relationship, you've had so many over the years, what is it that makes the difference for you? Is it your career, your resume, your reputation, the last deal you just did? Is it in the room when you're with them in the room? What is it that makes that possible?
I mean, look, all those things are real factors, right? I'm a little bit old school. I like to be in person. And look, there's a lot of great lawyers out there. Not everybody does what I do. There's a niche sort of universe of, and the practitioners in there that I see on a regular basis are all talented and tremendous. And we pitch some of the same people. We win and lose against the same people on a regular basis. And one of the things you learn is like, you can't take it personal. And we all have our strengths, and we're all a little bit different, right? So, do I have the right skill set, personality to fit in your culture, your environment? And so I want to show, yes, my resume is important. The last deal I did is important. By the way, I would say not just my last deal. My last 10 deals are important because I don't know what kind of deal they need. Mm-hmm. My personality doesn't fit with your personality and the culture of your organization, right? My work ethic, my style, the way I speak. And so I like to spend that time and that investment time. And look, if I lose to someone, I lose. You know what they say in like if you bat 300, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Listen, if I'm batting 30%, I'm you know what?
You're killing it.
I'm killing it. And look, would I love to have 1,000%? Sure. But I also never see my family and never see my kids, I would have zero friends and would be working 10,000 hours a year, right? That's the deal flow. There is enough, in this universe, especially now the private equity is investing in sports.
Exactly.
And so focused on it. There's, when we talk about sports, people talk about the team. It's a mistake to just think of it in this narrow way of, it's the players or the team. It's the players, the team, it's the league, it's the infrastructure, it's the real estate around it, it's the intellectual property, it's all those, it's the financing, it's the, and all those pieces come into play, right? It's the technology, sports, it's training, it's youth sports, it's, you can go down the list. So the industry of sport, the business of sports is massive. So you can't take on every deal. So when it's the right deal, it's the right deal. So I wish I had the magic sauce that I knew that was perfect and I could walk in the room and nail something, but that's not the way it works. Everything you mentioned, from my fees and to personality to experiences, those all are meaningful.
I got the perfect follow-up question, and I know you can't talk about customers.
Right.
Let's talk sport types. So some people would say the NFL is very simple. It's all you do is go forward. Whoever goes forward more wins. Generally speaking. Okay. So I don't think it's necessarily an intelligent sport personally. I would
The NFL?
The NFL.
You gotta be kidding.
I would veer more towards baseball because there's a lot of issues involved. So I want to ask you, big picture wise, you've dealt with all industries. Which is the smartest
Oh, come on.
sport from an ownership perspective, and which is the not so smart sport
No,
from an ownership perspective?
I mean, listen, from an ownership perspective, it comes down to economics, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I'm just talking about the brightest in the room. Like if we brought in an owner from each league and we put him in a room, where are you likely to see more intelligent people?
I see a lot of smart people.
Oh,
I see a lot of smart people in those, because the people that are in that room have been really successful doing whatever they were doing,
or they were born into it.
Some of them.
I'm just saying.
Look, there was a time that baseball, sports in general has evolved, right? So when I started in the industry, it was kind of evolving from mom and papa businesses.
Yes.
That I don't
Joe Robbie and all that. Yep.
Yeah, they're like personal family businesses. There was a sophistication, but not to the level we have today. To now, where you have private equity buying into portions of teams, right? Because these valuations are skyrocketing. There's a business to create.
But is private equity buying into sports because the sports needs, like the CEO? Say you got a startup, company. What do they do typically when they're going to go public? They're going to bring in some executives with gray hair. So is private equity buying in because that leadership, that knowledge base is necessary? Or I'm thinking Las Vegas Raiders, for instance,
not
where
necessarily.
the kid inherits it, and
look, the kid inherits it, and he's not a kid. But he
old man Davis.
Yes, he inherits the team, but somehow, some way, he gets a stadium built. And, to his credit, they built a stadium in Vegas and they moved the team from California to Vegas. So
valuation goes through the roof.
Valuations were moving up, but valuations are going up in part because NFL revenues are exploding. And you have a nationalization of revenue that actually provides value to all teams. When the Cleveland Browns have a $9 billion valuation and the New England Patriots sold a piece of their team for $9 billion this past year, right? And they're very different markets. Not criticizing either one, they're just different, right? And so what's the difference in valuation? It's not 30 or 40% anymore. It's a much smaller percentage. But look, the sport is they're looking at, investors are looking at this asset class in a very different way than they did before. The year-over-year returns on investment, if you're going to hold the asset, are better than the market, significantly better than the market. From an index, like significantly better than an index fund, right? Like you're talking about 12, 13, 14% compounded value, like increases to the valuations on year in, year out basis for a very extended period of time. And so it's a stable asset. People, even during COVID, actually, we've seen an explosion of valuation since COVID. Right. So if there was ever a moment in time where you thought, wow, there's a challenge, an issue, a concern related to the industry as a whole, because people can't go to a game. And
World Cup. Cheapest ticket in the World Cup at Hard Rock Stadium, $400. Colombia, Portugal, cheapest ticket, $3,100. And you know what happens? $250 to park and no tailgating.
It's incredible.
But that's like a world tournament, right? But it tells you the value and strength. You talk about the beginning of this session when you talk about how they fall into it and what this industry is. It's passion.
Right.
Yes.
Right? People care.
Yeah.
And so when people care about your industry and it's regulated and you have labor controls with collective bargaining and you have these national media rights, this is a very stable business in the United States.
Well, and then baseball's protected legally.
Well,
isn't it written into the?
They have some antitrust exemptions, but it has. And look, baseball's valuations have not gone at the same pace of the leagues. That may change after collective bargaining. We'll see. We don't know what they're going to win or not, and how that's going to play out. And hopefully there is labor peace, so that valuation, like labor peace, drives value, but they have to find the right balance. And so, but anyway, the point is like they're not investing because it's not like there was a time when people bought things because I want to be an investor. Yeah, it's cool. It's pride. Yeah,
like a restaurant. Let me open a restaurant because I want to be able to host people. Yeah, back in the day.
That happens, right? I'm not going to say that no investor invests because, like, look, I invested in two teams. I was a limited partner in Major League Soccer's LAFC.
Goodbye.
And I was an LP in the Oklahoma City Dodgers.
Wow, interesting.
Sold both interests, right? And there was no doubt, and I did it with my father, and there's no doubt that a part of that to me was first generation American opportunity to do something like, who the hell would have thought this opportunity could exist? Right?
Exactly.
Right? Pride. But the second part was, or third or fourth, whatever it was like, I'm not going to lose money.
Yeah.
There's no universe that I'm losing money on this investment. And I knew that as someone who worked in the industry. Actually, I'm going to make money.
Mhm.
Now, how much I make and when, that's a different story. And by the way, there's all these tax benefits, right? And
Doesn't hurt.
there's passive investors and active investors are control owners and they get massive depreciation day one. And as a passive investor, when I sold my shares, I had some tax benefits as a result of,
It's amazing.
realized losses and gains. And so look, so what I'd say is they're not investing, especially these funds, they're not investing because of pride or, they're investing because they believe in the asset class and the evolution of that. And that is really tremendous. And they're saying there's more ways they want to push the envelope. How can we make more money?
Mhm.
All right. So in the 1970s, I think, movie comes out called The Graduate. Okay. Graduate comes out and they say plastics. Plastics
That's
was
right.
like the thing.
That was
So
the magic
I'm going to
word.
give you the plastics moment. Okay. And I don't know anything, but I'm just going to sort of say the plastics moment is Major League Cricket. Cricket viewership is over a billion people. Major League Cricket, we got a bunch of tech billionaires. It's Microsoft, everybody else. They're all investing in teams. We had the first official cricket ground recognized internationally up in Lauderhill. Sunrise 441.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Lauderhill Oval. That whole community is all West Indian. The West Indian team, which represents the Caribbean, they play matches there. So when they have India coming in, they have Australia, all this type of stuff.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
Major League Cricket is expanding right now. They got 6 teams. They're looking to add another 2, I think, next season. Another 2 after that. They're trying to build it all out. Los Angeles just opened up its own stadium. New York, where you spend a lot of time. Remember, they went up to, what was it, Queens, and they built the temporary stadium right there with the pitch and all that type of stuff. I'm just saying, Major League Cricket is the plastics moment because it's not blown out
It's like
here yet.
pickleball.
But, look, pickleball is interesting.
Yeah.
Padel or paddle, depending on who you talk to, which is
Like Target versus
Yes, and by the way, in Europe, it's very interesting. So U.S. pickleball feels like it's advanced further than padel,
Right.
but in Europe, there's
the opposite.
zero pickleball.
Yeah,
there's like zero pickleball.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Look, Major League Cricket, I've seen some of their deals. Evaluations are low.
Starts today. Season kicks off today. Same day World Cup's kicking off.
That's fascinating.
And you got the Olympics coming, LA
by the way,
2028.
I would not want to be launching my season the same day as World Cup.
It's probably not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
But they have a dedicated loyal fan base.
Yes.
And the reality is it is going to grow. Now, will it grow at the pace you want? Is it the structured league you want? That's an interesting question. But look, Major League Soccer, when David Beckham came to the United States to play for the Galaxy,
Yes.
my recollection is that he had an option to buy an expansion team for $25 million.
That's right.
Pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
Deal looking
That's
back.
what he did.
And at the time, people were like, 25, it's a good
Right,
number.
right.
Yeah, what do you think teams are selling for now?
A few billion.
Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, he parlayed that into Inter
the
Miami.
team. Yep.
Brilliant.
Right, and with his partnership with the Moss family, everything else, and how that worked out for him, just pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know the intricacies of that transaction, how that worked out, but at the time that was an emerging sport.
Yeah.
Women's sports in the United States, that is a plastics moment,
Yeah.
and not just in the United States, in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay, my group is doing multiple deals in women's sports right now.
Really?
Yeah, WNBA, NWSL, so women's basketball, women's soccer. I believe that those 2 leagues have the best talent in the world in that sport. Arguably MLS does not have the talent that you have in the Premiership, right? No one, there's very few, if anyone, would say.
Did you know Oscar played college soccer?
I
Did you really?
Brevard College, yeah.
All right.
That
So
was
what's
a
your
lot of
team?
fun. I mean, I love World Cup. I think it's an amazing achievement for all the countries that
However,
participate. And I got to say, I mean, the U.S. doesn't always last, so I'll support Germany. I'll support France. I'll support
Germany. Why are you going with
international.
Germany?
I'm
Go with the Dutch. The
international.
Dutch are fun.
So
Holland. Go with Holland.
So okay, and then what's your do you have a Premiership team or any European? No, so you're not Chelsea.
No, he's
or
in the
Liverpool
Dungeons
or
and Dragons.
Yeah, I do that on the weekend. I got a thing on Saturday. But I know that
he's actually ranked in the state of Florida.
I
Dungeons
am,
and Dragons
yes.
over 60 crowd,
That's
right? Over 60 or 55?
over 60. No,
Okay.
over 70. Over 70 crowd.
You're not over 70. No, I see. You're just sneaking in. I got
That's
you.
right. Listen,
he's front
check out
running.
the
He's front
competition.
running.
Everybody's asleep.
He wants to make sure he's
Literally.
ranked.
Listen, when my kids are playing baseball, they want to play in the older division, so they play against more talent.
Exactly.
You're going a different way.
Brainiac.
You're going for the. You're going for
if I
the.
went younger, I'd get killed.
Right. So you're going. I
You
see.
got to go older.
Yeah, I got you. I'm following.
And I got to keep up the pretenses. So I know that we're getting to the time.
Yes,
when we're
because you
gonna
don't
show-
shut up. You just go on and on and on.
You're the one that goes on and on.
I want to see a number of minutes of who spoke for how much. And I don't know, he might be competing with me.
Oh, well, he's definitely going to be the top of the charts. But thank you, Irwin, for coming today and giving us so much.
Are we done? I thought we got like 2 more minutes.
We got 2 minutes.
All right,
Yes.
so go ahead.
So are you going to do a hack today? Are you going to give us a tip?
No. I mean, Irwin is so interesting. I want to. Can I ask one more question before we sort of shut it down?
Ask what you can.
So what sort of occurs to me is that you're kind of like a conduit, I would say, from old school to kind of the newer generation in terms of the ownership structure. Now you got private equity coming in. Back in the day, you had guys like Wayne Huizenga, who, I mean, kudos to him. He brings in these teams. If he doesn't have the gumption, he doesn't have the desire to go ahead and front the cash. Did he really want the Florida Panthers? I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But he brought in the Marlins. He gets involved with the Dolphins. So where do we kind of go from here? Does it all become corporate? Our sports to the situation, not to take a shot at Inter Miami, but I'm going to. Mm-hmm. They set up this brand new stadium. The seating is limited to 26,000. They want most people to pay money to get in there and watch it on a big screen. So are we seeing the bourgeoisie aspect of sports start to take over, where the real fans are going to have to be on the outside and only the posh types are going to be actually and I'm not asking about that, but I'm saying where are we kind of going? Does it become all corporate? And are we having the Lululemon effect on sports, where the locals can no longer get in and you got to drop big money in order to look the look?
Yeah, I don't think so, but it is a fair question.
Right.
Look, it is a fair question. That's why you have sometimes in these stadium deals, you have these things called community benefit obligations, which actually try to insist on and doing things.
$5 tickets from Sedano's to get in the Marlins Park.
Can't say that about Marlins Stadium.
But but the reality is, yes. Look, we have become as an industry much more sophisticated when it comes to ticketing and how to layer a product. So it used to be that there was only one piece of luxury product, a suite.
Yep.
Now you have loge boxes and club seats and all kinds of various elements, and it goes from top to bottom. And what amenity do you get for it? They try to create a value proposition to it. Like, why would you spend the extra $20, $30 or a ticket a game or $100? Because there needs to be somewhere in there a value proposition, right? In theory. And so people think about this. People spend a lot of time studying it and trying to find a way to do it. The reality is, there is a challenge, an industry risk. People have to pay attention and keep a really close eye on it. I think people are sensitive to it. But no, we are going to have a significant premium product.
So it's all going to be corporate.
It's not going to be all corporate, but there's going to be a significant amount of corporate because, the way these stadiums are built from a financing perspective, it's called contractually obligated income, which is sponsorship and like suites and long-term. Those long-term agreements are things that banks can lend against, right? So when you have someone, people say, why is the public investing in these stadiums? Well, there's arguments like you should or shouldn't. But some communities give zero, right? New York's going to give zero. They'll give you infrastructure. Maybe they'll issue some debt for you, but you have to pay it back. California's pretty much going to give you zero. But Florida, we give, right? Pick a community. I just did an arena deal in D.C. D.C. gave $515 million for the renovation money for the Capital One Arena. And there's a lot of public policy reasons. Yes, it's civic pride. Yes. There's economic development drivers. There's all kinds of things. But there's also those subsidies actually have another benefit, which is the larger the debt service payment is to invest in the building, the more revenue I need to generate to pay for it. Right? Because if you're not generating and evolving your building, you're going to fall behind.
Right.
So I think it is a real challenge, and people are trying to get creative about it. Right? There's this I think it's COSM. It's like they create these. It's like theaters type screens and experiences to watch live sports, but it's not live. It's on a TV, right? To get that fan experience, people are trying to come up with creative ways to get that fan experience because, by the way, if it gets too corporate, you lose the passion. So there's a balance, right? There's going to be certain sections and buildings dedicated to fans and bring in your most passionate people. There's going to be corporate. There's always going to be corporate, and I'd be lying if I said otherwise. Striking that balance is a challenge, and in each community, you have to do the analysis, see what your community can afford to do. If you do it wrong, your building's empty. Right? If you have too few luxury product, you can't pay for things. If you have too much product, no one's coming to the game. So there are really smart people that try to think through and solve for that. But the reality is that's a real issue. I don't know the answer to it. God, I don't know. Like sometimes you say, I know what I know, I know what I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I know people think about it because it is a real issue.
Yeah.
All right, just a follow-up question.
Yeah, go for it.
So AI is the bubble. AI is going crazy. We all were here in the early 2000s when the condo market went crazy.
Right.
We had banks going crazy back then, Great Recession. Has sports been stress tested? Has it? I mean, like the Fed stress test banks to make sure everything's in line. The valuations I'm seeing from these, I don't know anything. I mean, you're the expert. But has there been a stress test? And if there is a stress test, how does this stuff sort of hold up if suddenly we go into a recession? We've been on a run, basically, from a real estate perspective, which I can talk to. 2012, typically a cycle is 7 to 10 years. We have not stopped. We had a little pause in around the pandemic, but we are on fire. And I do not believe trees grow to the moon. So I'm just wondering, has sports been stress tested? And if it does get stress tested, are we going to see everybody as confident as they are right now?
Yeah, I think it has been.
It has been stress tested.
But beyond that, the leagues have created stress tests within them. It's not law like you have with a bank and the way like we structure these banking structures, but there's what's called debt service rules, and each league in the United States has them. Right?
Are they similar, or are they very much the debt service rules?
Well, they are different each one.
Okay.
Like and what you'll find is they are very under-leveraged.
Interesting.
Predominantly under-leveraged. Now, they do make exceptions to their debt rules for new buildings when those new buildings are going to generate more revenue to justify it, right? But generally speaking, these debt rules are really, they will show that the buildings are under-leveraged. Like in baseball, for a new building, it's 12 times EBITDA, whatever it is, or 12 times revenue. And that's like a low number when you have to build, like stadiums cost over $1 billion, right? So, we have, NFL has, NFL, NBA. The only league that doesn't have a strict limit, I think, is MLS. So they have more flexibility in their structure, is the way I recall the rules. But the other ones are pretty strict rules, and you have to get exceptions to go over that. And so what does that mean? To get that exception, you need to prove your business case. And these companies are really, generally speaking, under-leveraged. That is another reason why investors are so interested. The chances of a team going bankrupt are very, very low. It's happened a few times. I'm not saying it's happened zero. When the Dodgers went bankrupt, it wasn't because they weren't generating revenue. That was because they were looking for relief around, a certain set of rules they were trying to get around. By the way, just as an aside, every league constitution says that you are prohibited from filing for bankruptcy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
That doesn't mean that there's a debate whether that's constitutionally permissible. And so people challenge. They say, no, I have a constitutional right to declare bankruptcy, and so people have tried. And that's another conversation for another day. But the point is, the rules. There's a series of rules in place to protect these teams from being over leveraged. And that's why some people really look at this and say, wait a second, you got labor peace, you got national media rights deals, people are watching on TV or streaming. Even you've blown up all the RSNs, right? All the RSNs have disappeared. Okay, great. The RSNs disappear, not all, but a lot of them, they are disappearing. And we're figuring out another way to deliver the content because people still want the content.
Like Miami Heat. Miami Heat just cut a deal with WPLG, which cut off from ABC. Now you're going to be able to watch the Heat games effectively online.
Right. And why is that? Because the national media rights deal became so significant that you didn't need the local media rights to be as high. People find ways to solve the problem because their passion and their desire for the content drives that. Right.
Wow. Incredible.
It's brilliant. So to wrap this up,
yes,
we got Major League Soccer, Lionel Messi. He's still doing pretty good at your age. He's actually pretty good.
He looks fantastic.
We got the Miami Marlins. We got the Miami Dolphins. We got the Canes, or Miami Hurricanes, which are effectively a professional team. If you ask me what's going on now with the NIL money.
Did you talk about the Panthers?
No, you got the Panthers back-to-back. Well, not this year. Back-to-back championships.
They had a lot of injuries this year.
Yeah. So we have Formula One.
Formula One. Incredible.
Is Miami a major sports market today, even though nobody's going to the Marlins games?
Yeah.
And Major League Soccer, I guess people are going. Miami Heat, you can get tickets on Groupon for $20 to get in. So are we a major sports? Some games. Are we a major sports market?
Yes.
We are.
Yeah, unequivocally.
Now you're talking infrastructure. You actually talking fan commitment and people willing to burn and like New York City.
Now you get to the definition of what it is.
Okay.
But the infrastructure is here to do things. This city now has virtually every, or this community. I don't want to say city because I would say the region. I would say Miami-Dade and Broward.
Yes.
I know we don't. I think we're Miamis, so we don't want to go to Broward, but they have a facility there too, right?
Yes, they do.
And so those facilities, right, really create a really unique experience. Not every city has all these facilities. And you combine those facilities with our beaches, with our other activities.
Yeah.
We're a destination.
Yeah.
We were always a destination, but now we're like, now you can have sports specific driven destination. Hey, I want to go to whatever. I want to go to the weekend series of blankety blank team in Miami. Yeah, I'll go to a game. I'll go to the beach. I'll go to dinner. We have all the infrastructure to really support that. So this is a real city. Now, growing up a Canes fan and growing up a sad Dolphins fan. Well, I wasn't sad when they started. Now it's a little bit harder. We're going to get there.
We're going to get there this year, I think.
One of these days, any day now. I'm not giving up hope. I will never give up hope. And like, think about the minute the team wins, how excited this fan base gets.
That's true.
Right? How, like, it's electric, right? When the Heat are winning, how electric the Heat. When Dwayne
2006 30-year anniversary. No, 20-year anniversary. 2006 championship to me with D. Wade and Czech was much better than the LeBronica James. And I call him LeBronica because he was LeBron when he was here. And then he hightailed and got, and so I downgraded him.
Look,
more fun in 06 than the 4-year run when LeBron James choked in the first season of the Big Four in the finals against Dallas.
The first time is always so meaningful.
Oh,
yes.
Right. And the way that team came together.
But D. Wade was in his prime, the shots, Ray Allen had his shot.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Ray Allen's shot was much better than last night with the Knicks. The Knicks thing was like subpar. That was,
I don't know. What Ray Allen did it in like what the Heat did in 30 seconds is different than what they did in the last 15 minutes of that game. Yeah. But listen, everyone has their team that they love, right?
Yes.
But you just proved why this is a sports town.
This is true.
You just proved it.
It's true.
Right? Because you care.
Yeah, I do care.
Right? And so this is not like when even if someone's at the beach and they didn't go to the Hurricanes game or they didn't go to a game because they went to the beach instead or they went to a dinner or whatever, when the Heat loses, they're like, do they look at their phone and say, who cares? No, they get mad. They can't.
Because they're on Hard Rock bets and they're gambling.
Listen,
now they're on Poly Market.
To each his own. To each his own on that front. Right. But the reality is, I do think this is sports, and we're going to go. It's going to be cyclical.
Yeah.
Think about the Knicks 2 years ago.
Right.
And people were crying. Oh, they suck. Steve
suck.
Smith is getting on there saying they're the worst team on the planet. Like people were just down on them. And it's not like MSG was like it was the most boisterous place on the planet. Like we are not unique in the sense that people don't go to every game and we don't sell out every game. That's common.
Normal.
But the reality is people maybe go faster back into other markets or maybe have less distractions like in other markets. But we have it all here.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot to different. So I think we're a sports town and we can always get better. We always find ways. And how do we do it? We build better facilities. We build better experiences so people want to get there early and want to stay late. How do you do that? I don't know. I talk about it all the time with my clients and the consultants and advisors. How do you do that? How do you get people to stay longer? How do you create that vibe, that environment that people want to be a part of it? Passion. Winning's easy. Well, not easy. Winning's the hardest thing to do. But when you're winning, all the warts are hidden. Yeah. Because people are going to go because they're winning.
Loves you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what happens when you lose? That's the question. And that's what you're trying to get at. Adversity. When we lose, what happens? And the reality is you're always going to have your diehards here. Yeah. Right? People are going to love it. Mm-hmm. People are going to hate it. Mm-hmm. People are going to complain. I have family members that when we have a bad play, they're like, I can't watch this anymore. I do it too. We all do it. Right? But you care.
Yes.
And as a result, we are a real town.
Yes.
Right? So I listen, we have an MLS champion. We have a two-time NHL champion. Yeah. We have an almost national champion in the last couple of years.
Right. That was just what the hell was he thinking on the last pass, the interception? What was Beck thinking?
I don't know, but
he threw it too early.
You're making his point.
All right. So the way we measure if something's going well or not, we do it based on the flame level, cooking a local cuisine. So if something is cold, we say it's like a bagel and schmear flame because there's no flame.
All right.
And if it's really burning, it could be something like a Haitian griot where that's just burning, or a Nicaraguan fritanga. So it's based on Miami being a major sports town. What flame level would you apply to it? It could be anything.
I mean, listen, I don't eat spicy food.
No, I'm talking about the heat.
The heat level. Listen,
heat level.
I mean, I'm going to go with a simple...
I mean, it could be a plancha on a Cuban sandwich. It could be like whatever you want.
No, it's more than a plancha. Let's be real.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to get a little spice in there, you know.
All right.
But if a plancha's 5,
yeah,
I'll give us a 7.
A 7. So what kind of heat flame with that? What kind of cuisine? The way they cook it. It's definitely not sushi.
It's not Korean food, right?
Okay.
It's like a churrasco or something like that.
I don't know. It's a little bit of hot sauce, Mexican,
Okay.
Maybe some Mexican food, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. Listen, you're telling the wrong guy when it comes to spice.
Okay.
It's more like a caja china, which you would relate to, right? You know the amount of heat that generates to cook that pig.
Yeah, it has been a slow burn to my
sports market. Like a caja china kind of heat. That's what this is.
I would say that this market just continues to mature.
Exactly.
Right?
It is.
And it just continues to mature and it continues to mature. And the reality is, you had 500,000 people move here during COVID. Maybe 100,000 left, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, guess what? They don't all love Miami teams.
That's true.
And you know what? That helps.
Yes.
Right.
That helps.
Yeah.
Because when the kids are in school, and like the other day I was speaking to my kids' class at school, and I told them I was going to Game 4 of the finals, and they're like, "Are you rooting for the Knicks?" I'm like, "No, not really." Not a Knicks fan. And there were like 7 or 8 kids in the room booing me.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Which they should.
And they should. And good for them.
Exactly.
And you know what the best part is? Then you see the Heat fans go, "No, go Heat!"
Yeah.
And that energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That creates excitement.
That's it.
Right? So we welcome these people, and they get into our mixing bowl here.
That's it.
And create that little spark that we might need to take us from 7 to 9.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Well, we want to thank you, Irwin.
Well,
for
you didn't
coming
give
down
your call, though.
I did.
Why are you jumping ahead? So you say it's a caja china.
It's a caja china. It's like burning solid. You put your hand in there, it's going to come out black from the heat.
Listen, I'm going to say it's like the level of heat necessary for like deep frying something like French fries. But I'm not going to go to a traditional restaurant. I'm going to go in the point where it's a food truck. Back in the day, they called it a roach coach. So it's not burning as hot. I think we're probably about a 6 or 7. I think we're getting there. I think we got space to grow into thanks to your work.
Well, listen,
you just copied Irwin. My God,
I like the 6-7.
I'd say 6-7.
The whole 6-7 thing of today's memes, but yeah, listen. I mean, I'm a small piece of it, right? Like the reality is...
Yeah, but you're the conduit. Without the brain trust, the institutional knowledge that you have to be able to put together, and basically longevity. Longevity, I mean, a lot of it is, being around and seeing the different traits and...
Listen, I think you're calling me old.
No, I'm not calling... No, this guy's old. You're not old. This guy's long in a tooth. Go ahead and smile. Let's see how long those teeth are.
I'm a grizzled veteran. I've been doing this a long time. I've been very fortunate.
Institutional knowledge.
Wait a minute. Who lost all his hair? I think you...
No, I shaved this off, so I'd be better looking. Come on. What are you talking about?
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Let Irwin have the last word, for God's sake.
Listen,
land this podcast.
I will do the best I can. Look, what I've done in my career and what I do here in Miami and other communities, I'm lucky. I'm just really fortunate because I get to tap into that passion and I get to see something. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that these buildings really do impact people. And you can argue about the dollars and cents and this. They're all fair arguments. I'm not going to say they don't have a fair argument to say you should put public money in a building or a wealthy person. I get it. But you can't say people don't care. You can't say people aren't passionate about it. And you can't say that those buildings and what happens in those buildings doesn't impact people on a day in, day out basis. And for me, I was able to shift my passion for making a difference, whether in government, to making a passion in someone's life for that hour, for that 2 hours, whatever it is. And I'm a small piece. I don't pick the players. I'm not the one putting up the money. I'm the one taking the risk. I'm trying to help it. I try to help my clients grow. I help my clients reach their objectives, and that's what's great. And that's why I love what I do. And Miami, look, it's great to be back in Miami. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I really wouldn't. It's getting a little pricey out there, but I love being here. I love being with my parents. I love being with my family. I love the fact that my kids can play baseball 6 days a week if they want to, 7 days a week. So this is a special place. And so I think this market is just going to get better and better. And the reality is, yeah, some people might move to Broward.
That's it. Maybe Peter will. Please, God, please. So I don't have to drive him anymore. Well, thank you, Irwin, for coming today. Today has been a very special day. We covered a lot of sports. It's been fantastic. And we hope that you not only watch this show, but watch us next week. Every Thursday at 1 p.m., we're here in South Miami at the Community Newspapers headquarters. which are a museum of life, community, family. You walk through here and you see people you know or people you should know, because it's all about business, small business, growing your connections to people. So please look them up, advertise with them, call them, harass them, tell them you want them at your business. Tell them you want to see them more.
Ask for Grant Miller when you come in. He's
That's
typically
it.
not
Grant
doing
Miller right
anything.
there.
He'll give you a
the
tour.
man.
He's not doing
the
anything.
man. That's it. You
Yep.
have anything to
Yep.
say, Grant? No,
No,
not
it's the
today.
first time he's got nothing to say.
Thanks a lot. See you next week.